Hello, guys. Hello there. Right. Now I need to start again, but it's okay. Hello, guys. I'm Barbara Zyk, Employer Branding Stars podcast. Today with me is Ana Vale. I don't know if you pronounced your surname well, but she's calling us from Portugal, Porto, and she's going to tell us a beautiful story about the Ambassadors Program. She's working for Hitachi. So if you, Anna, say hello to us and tell us about your where you're coming from. I've already said, but a fascinating story about how you started in HR. And so that will be great. Welcome to our podcast. We're going to talk about the ambassadors programs today. Great topic. I know a lot of our listeners are interested in that topic these days. Very hot one. So I can wait.
Thank you very much, Barbara, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Ana Vale, and I'm Head of Human Resources at Hitachi Solutions Portugal. I also started the employer branding team almost 2 years ago. So thank you for inviting me, Barbara, to this podcast.
Sure.
Today, I'm going to share with you our experience with our Hitachi Ambassadors Program,
Yeah.
which started around 9 months ago. So, in the beginning, when we started the employer branding team, this was 2 years ago, we realized that we had a strong company culture and we needed to show it to the exterior, right? Because since the beginning, we realized that it was one of the strengths of our company, something that the employees valued very much. But candidates were not aware of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the main reason why we started working on our employer branding. Uh, After a year, more or less a year after we started working in employer brand and showcasing what we do, what kind of activities we have, what's the environment looks like at Hitachi Solutions, we started feeling that it would be good if we had more organic content coming from the employees.
Right.
Because of course it's interesting that we say as Hitachi Solutions we do this kind of events, we have a great team environment, we have these strengths and we provide this kind of support to employees, etc. But we understood that it would be much more powerful if the employees would say that themselves and would share their experiences, right? And we had one or two occasions where they did that spontaneously and the results were really good. So that's when we started thinking of creating an ambassadors program. So we started this in a very rudimentary way, like almost a trial. We are 7 members of the employer branding team. And we started by saying, okay, let's invite the team members who would like to join the program, explain to them what are the benefits for them, what are the benefits for the company, see who is interested. And we decided to accept a maximum of 7. So each one of the ambassadors would have a mentor from the employer branding team, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's
That's
how
unusual.
we decided. We said, okay, let's see who wants to participate. Our goal was to have genuine content, so the employees would post whatever they wanted, whatever subject they wanted. Of course, something related with their experience in the company, but it could be very varied. It could be their experience on projects. It could be about some travel that they did for work. It could be about some company events that they really enjoyed. So it was something that would have to come from the heart, right? And we, as an employer branding team, would help them to review the content, just to give them more confidence, right?
Right.
Because sometimes people really want to post, but they don't have the confidence. So then we decided to write a very simple guide explaining the objectives of the program, and some very basic rules, um, and we communicated this to the team. And we got straight away 9 people interested, so more people than we anticipated.
Wow.
But we said, okay, let's start with the 7. This is our initial goal. Let's see how it goes first. And we wanted to have one post per week. So each ambassador would post every 7 weeks, right?
Wow. Hmm.
So that was the initial plan. Of course, once we started, we had some challenges, right?
Right.
Um,
Oh, great. So I just wanted to ask. So how did you source these guys? Like it was information on intranet, or who was the who
It
were
was,
there? Yeah.
yeah, it was on a quarterly meeting. We do
All right.
quarterly meetings with all the team. So we announced the program in one of those quarterly meetings, and we gave
Okay.
them 1 week to demonstrate interest.
Okay. So they just apply or send you? I want to be part of.
Yes,
Okay.
just get
Okay.
in touch with one of the members of the employer branding team.
So what did you say to people just to get their attention and willing to apply?
Yeah, just we said that we wanted some more genuine content
Okay.
on our social media, and that we were thinking about launching this program on LinkedIn. We explained the benefits for the company by having the genuine
Okay.
content and the contribution from the employees. We would make our content more real. And we also said that this would also have benefits for the employee because it would enhance their own LinkedIn profiles.
Okay.
So, for example, one of the things, the first thing we did as mentors of the ambassadors was to review their own LinkedIn profile and
Okay.
gave them tips. For example, you don't have a photo on LinkedIn, you don't have a summary of your experience on LinkedIn. So we helped them with this.
Okay.
That this was the first step.
Okay, great. So it was like a coaching or mentoring, as you said, a personal gain was there. Great. Yeah,
Exactly.
it worked. So 9 people applied. How did you choose the 7? It's like
It was, yeah, it was on a first come first serve basis. So the first 7
okay.
we got them, but of course this was in the beginning because very soon we got them on board,
Oh,
and we got 9 because what we realized in the beginning is that okay, people had usually when they started, they already had something in mind to post, right? So
mm-hmm.
for the initial posts was not difficult because they were already thinking, oh, I would like to post about, for example, some training that I delivered, my participation on the learning and development program. I would like to talk about that.
Yeah.
Some others had really good personal experiences with the company. For example, I remember one employee who returned from maternity leave, and she felt that she had a very good experience with the company and all the flexibility that we provided to her to conciliate the return to work with the motherhood, and she would like to share about that. So in the beginning it was not difficult because the topics were already there and the willingness to share them. After a while, we realized that sometimes the ambassadors didn't have a topic on that specific date where they were supposed to post. And that's when the first challenges came, and we started to discuss what would be the best way, because of course we didn't want to force any content.
Okay.
It would have to be genuine, right?
Yeah.
And if there are no content, we don't want them to invent a post that doesn't come genuinely from their hearts. So that's when we started to think, and with the ambassadors' input as well, because they also participated in the discussions around the program,
Right.
we ended up deciding that we should have more people as ambassadors. So we should
Hmm.
take the other two that we didn't take initially. So we had more people to post. And we also started to have the ambassadors giving good ideas for other people to post. People, team members who were not ambassadors. For
Oh,
example,
okay.
they started thinking, oh, I think that this person who led the learning and development program in this area could do a post sharing their experience. And so we decided to talk to that person. What do you think? You had this experience. Would you like to do a post? And we can help you with that. And most of them said, oh, yes, that would be really good. So it's been really good to see how the program evolved in a way where the ambassadors are not also sharing, but they are also giving ideas to others and
Yeah.
inviting others
Right.
to participate, which is really good.
Yeah.
Um,
Smart.
and um, and we did all of that, and we also um, started to we developed much more detailed guide with rules, because we also had situations where, for example, the ambassador said that he or she would write a post, and on the day the post wasn't ready. So we started to say, okay, this needs rules. The
Mhm.
ambassadors needs to tell us in advance if he doesn't have the post ready, so we can rearrange our planning and have another ambassador posting, for example.
Yeah.
And also another very interesting thing is that once we started with this program, we started naturally having more posts on LinkedIn from employees,
Yeah.
and other employees who are not part of the program started to post naturally as well, because probably they were inspired by others and
Yeah.
they said, okay, this person shared this training, I also did one training, I can also post. And they started naturally um, making those posts and mentioning the company, which
Right.
is really interesting, very,
Right.
very interesting.
Great. I wanted to ask, so it was people were posting through your company LinkedIn profile or using their own profiles? Because
Using
okay,
their own profile. Yeah,
okay,
they use their own profile, and what they do is to mention our LinkedIn page, but
right.
they use their own profile.
Okay. And did you repost them or just
Usually not.
okay?
Sometimes we do, but usually not, because otherwise it would be too many posts, right?
Right. Yeah,
It
that
would
one
be
was
too
question.
many.
That was the question. Hmm. Right. Yeah. So what's next? Yeah, question. Another question is like, did you have any goal in mind? Like, we want to achieve this, or how we going to measure that, or it was just like, let's go with the flow and we'll see.
It was a little bit let's go with the flow,
Okay.
but of course we wanted to have some results, right? And we measure our LinkedIn engagement, followers, all of that. And what we realize is that one from in comparison to this year with the ambassadors program, with last year where we didn't have ambassadors program, our LinkedIn page grows 10% more than usual,
Okay. Oh,
right? So that is really a positive result, and it
yeah.
really demonstrates the difference. And also, we noticed that 50% of our new followers of the page they start following us in the from the post and the next 2 days since one ambassador posts.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
that's good. Yeah, that's we could measure to see how
Yes.
many days.
Yeah. So we can
Mhm.
see that there is a clear impact between the posts and
Yeah.
the number of followers of the page.
Wow, great. So, so you said at at the very beginning it was 7 people. How is it now? It's like it's still the same squad or the same team or different people.
No, we are more. We didn't have anyone giving up so far, so we still got those 7 plus 2. And to be honest with you, and I know it's really bad, I don't know exactly the number at the moment, but I would say probably around 10 people.
Okay.
And the reason why I don't say the exact number by heart is that we have people who post occasionally, even though they
Right.
are not ambassadors, right? As I said before, but we have quite a lot of engagement in the employees posting, even those who are not ambassadors, which is really good. And because now we have so many employees posting, this gives time to the ambassadors to have genuine content and not having like to force
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
they are posting. So we want this to be natural and not something artificial, right?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Sure. So, how do you see somebody has posted? Like, do you use any hashtag or how do you when you
Yeah, well, we when we do posts from the company, we do more hashtags because
right?
these are posts that come from the employee own profile.
Yeah.
We don't want it to be too artificial, right?
Right.
Want to make it natural. So usually we leave it to the employee. If the employee wants to put hashtags,
Mhm. Right.
that's fine. If the employee doesn't put, we don't suggest hashtags because this is something that we want to be as natural as possible. And we are here more to give confidence to the employees
Right.
rather than doing the posts instead of them, right? Um,
Sure. So again, so how do you know somebody has posted? Like you
we have a
propose.
calendar. We created a calendar,
Okay.
so every post that comes from the ambassadors, we have a calendar every week,
Okay.
so they know in what week they are supposed to
Right.
post and in what day. So that is also agreed because we don't want the ambassadors to post on one day and then on the same day we have a company post and another post that comes from an employee. So everything that comes either from an ambassador or from someone who was proposed by an ambassador, that's on our calendar, right?
Okay.
And it's agreed beforehand.
So everybody sees that calendar.
The
It's like a handbook.
ambassadors, all the ambassadors see.
Okay.
Of course, the employees, if they decide to post spontaneously,
Yeah.
then we don't have anything to do with that. Of course, it's their own profile; they can post whenever they want. But from the ambassadors, we have a calendar.
Right. So the who is managing the calendar and the system? Like who's
It's
possibly
one.
doing?
It's our digital marketing specialist who is
All right.
part of the employer branding team. She is
Okay.
the one who has the calendar for all the social media posts, and
Right.
she manages the calendar as well. And she makes sure that if someone needs to be changed because an ambassador is not ready to post, she can do all those arrangements.
Okay. So next question is like, do you have any policy for the ambassadors? Like, are they allowed, for example, to use photos from inside the company, or they should use graphics, or the any formats they should go for? How do you have
Well,
anything like that, or is
we have some general rules.
yeah,
So, for example, they cannot post anything with alcohol, for example, any
yeah,
bottles or whatever.
right,
Um, it's an example because sometimes it's parties or
Yeah,
go
yeah,
for lunch and so on, so we avoid um, this kind of photos containing alcohol. And also usually we ask them to review the photos. Why? Because we have specialists in photo editing as well, and
right.
sometimes that are things that we don't understand as general public. We think that the photo is really good, but someone with another kind of eye, more trained, can say, okay,
Yeah,
this photo is better, or perhaps this photo we should cut it in a way that it looks better. So usually we try to review the photos before,
right.
but we still have the guidelines as well.
So you run this for LinkedIn, right?
Yes, for LinkedIn for now.
Yeah.
We don't know in the future if it's going to grow to Instagram as well. We are still considering.
Okay. So tell me about the process. It's like beyond the putting it on calendar, reviewing the photo. Are there any like internal communication team reviewing the copy, or who is accepting the copy? Like
Yeah.
the process.
So usually, the mentee, the ambassador,
Okay.
discusses the topic that he or she would like to share, and the first draft with their mentor, because each ambassador has a mentor within the employer branding team, right?
Yeah.
And once the copy is ready, usually the member of the employer branding team, who is the mentor, shares the copy with the other members of the employer branding team. So we all have a look. And that helps to spot some minor typos or minor mistakes, uh,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that when the post goes out, it's as good as possible in terms of quality.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Wow. So do you use any tools for that? It's just or it's just in email or Google
It's just
Sheet or
our normal, we use Teams at work.
okay. Right.
So it's basically everything, all communications made via Teams, really. So it's quite easy. It's
Okay.
quite
So you
easy.
don't you so it's important question, just an important answer because people these days thinking, oh, I need to start with some tools dedicated to employee advocacy. So it's nice to see and hear that you can start with just Teams or yeah, any
Yeah.
other corporate communicators. So great,
And
great.
that's actually a very good question, because when we started the program,
Yeah,
the idea started because one company who does that kind, specialists in that kind of advocacy platform,
right, right,
they made contact with me, and
right.
they presented how they work and the
Yeah.
tool. And what I've seen, I'm not saying that those kind of tools don't have value, for sure they have. But when I've seen what was presented to me in terms of how it works and so on, I thought that we could make something very similar just by using Teams and just by
Okay.
organizing ourselves, right? I'm not saying that it's the same, probably
Yeah.
it's
Sure.
not, and I'm not saying that it doesn't have value, but
Yeah. Sure.
sometimes with a little bit of thought and organization, you can do a lot without actually spending money.
Yeah. Yeah. That's important. Yeah. Great. So tell me, what was the biggest challenge of this journey?
Right. The biggest challenge in the beginning, we had, especially in the beginning, we had the ambassadors, some people um, wanted to post, but they didn't have content,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that was probably the biggest challenge we had, because some of them were probably expecting to join the program, and they were expecting us to give them the
Oh,
content to
wow.
post,
Okay.
right? Okay, so, and it doesn't work like that, right? It has to come from the employee. Of course, there are some obvious things that we can suggest. We can say, okay, you did some training, why don't you post about that? But that is not the most regular thing that happens. So most of the time, the employee needs to come with their own ideas, right?
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of a challenge, but we worked together with them, with the ambassadors, and we heard their struggles as well and their own ideas. And at the end, they came with really, really good ideas. So what we do now,
Mhm.
every 2 months, we meet with all of them, with the
Okay.
ambassador,
Yeah.
just to brainstorm ideas for posts. And
Yeah.
what happens is that they come with really, really good topics, sometimes not for them, but for a colleague. Sometimes they say, okay, I think this person could do a really good post about this or that, right?
Yeah.
So that's how we overcame that challenge. It's by involving them in the discussion. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and also to make them aware, look, guys, we need commitment from you. So if you don't have a post, please let us know in advance so we can change, we can replace you. Because we also have some people who are the opposite. We have one ambassador who asks us to post once per month at least, because some people have lots of content, right? Uh,
Yeah.
so that was, I think, the biggest challenge. But all together, working together, we are now in a position where I think the program is running smoothly,
Seems like
and we
your own
compensate.
internal. Mhm. Go
Now, I
go.
was going to say that we compensate the ones who have less content by the others who have more, and also with the
Right.
occasional contributors, right? With the occasional contributors, we end up having one post per week for sure, without any
Yeah.
difficulty.
Hmm. Seems like your own internal brainstorming creative team uh, for
That's true.
for
That's true.
for the posting. Right. Tell me, it's like, is it somehow connected to your other employer branding staff or strategy or EVP if you have one? Is it
Yes,
Mhm.
we do have an EVP, and
Right?
one of the guidelines that we give to the ambassadors on that guideline
Yeah.
document that we created is that when they think about the posts, there are lots of options. It could be
Yeah.
project experience, it could be events, it could be some training that they did, and we also encourage them to think about our EVP. Is this something that demonstrates any of the pillars of our EVP?
Right.
So they are also encouraged to think about that when they are posting.
How is it going? Is it easy for them or
As I said, I think in the beginning was more complicated, right?
right?
Now it's becoming much more natural.
Okay.
And in the beginning, there were times where we were struggling because we didn't have any posts, and we were asking to the all the ambassadors who has an idea, because we don't know if we are able to have a post for this week. But now it's running really smoothly. And because we have external occasional contributors,
Right.
we don't have any difficulty in having posts at the moment.
Perfect. Congratulations on that. It's not easy job to
Thank
get
you.
such
Thank you very
results.
much.
So, if you can tell us about what kind of, well, do you have any plans for this program? Is it's New Year coming, so do you have any goals, or it's going to be the same, or how do you perceive
I
that?
think for now, we are still going to consolidate the program. So it's
Right?
going to probably continue like this, because only now we feel that we are getting to that situation where we are running it smoothly now with no difficulties, right? So we are starting now to get to that stage, and we
Yeah.
probably need to consolidate that, right?
Yeah.
but we already have some ideas that we might implement in the future. So one could be, for example, to do a similar program, but for the leadership
Mm.
instead of the employees, right? So it's
Yeah.
something that,
Ambitious.
yes, I know
Hmm.
it is, but it's not going to be in the near future. For
Yeah.
now, we want to consolidate the program.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. Great. I was thinking about how was it accepted, or how was it? What was the reaction in within the company? Have you seen any reactions to that? The
Yes,
people not. Mhm.
the reactions are very good. How do we see them? We see them on the comments of the posts, right?
Okay.
And the interesting thing is that most of the people, and especially we are a branch of Hitachi Solutions Europe, right? So many of our colleagues who comment on the posts, they don't even know about the
Uh-huh.
ambassadors program, right? So they just look at the posts as some natural posts
Yeah.
on LinkedIn because they are not even aware that we are doing this program. So we have very, very good reactions on comments on LinkedIn. And I had situations from leadership members who were not even aware of the program and
Right.
who commented with me, "Oh, did you see that post from X or Z?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
The post was amazing." I had this kind
Yeah.
of feedback, which is really good to hear. And look again, and I want to stress this: they are genuine posts, but we help people who are not used perhaps to write.
Yeah.
We just help them to give them the confidence to do the posts, but all the content is genuine. Um, so the feedback is really good. And also we have another example,
Hmm.
more than one already, where some employees posted about some specific projects where they participated, and we had excellent comments on the post from clients, which is really, really positive.
Yeah.
It's like employer branding
Yeah.
influencing positively the corporate branding, right?
Yeah. That
So
is great.
it was not expected, and it was not that was not the goal. Our target when we do this is potential candidates to
Yeah.
showcase our culture.
Yeah.
We are not targeting clients, but
Right.
it was interesting to see
Yeah.
that we had good reactions from clients as well.
Wow, that's great because we're looking for such connections to even it's a strong argument when you pitch to boards for money for the projects. If we can prove that it's influencing the clients as well, that's great.
Yeah,
So yeah,
true.
great. So tell me, what who are those people? The ambassadors, are they coming from different
Yeah.
business units, from areas? Like who are they?
Okay, so most of them are consultants. So we are consultancy company, IT
Yeah.
consultancy company, and most of our employees they are consultants. Even though we have different areas, right? We've got customer engagement, we've got finance and operations, data and analytics. So they
Yeah.
might be consultants, but from different teams.
Okay.
And we also have a couple from human resources or different background from more from general and administration as well. So it's a varied group.
Okay. Yeah, that's important too. So, in term, and they posting in Portuguese, right?
No, they post in English because
Yeah.
it's our business language is in English. So
Oh,
everything we
okay.
post on our LinkedIn, it's everything in English.
Oh, great. So, okay. That's surprise. Yeah, that's surprise. But it seems like LinkedIn is so. Guys from other branches, regions, countries can
Can
also
see
see
and
that.
interact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's impactful. Right. So, hard question. Would you change anything if you were given this task, or you were able to start again on the
Well,
journey
yeah, the only thing I can say is that it would be much quicker to get to what we are now, right? Because,
quicker? Like,
yeah, well, it was, I wouldn't say that it wasn't quicker, but we would be in the beginning much more detailed in terms of the guidelines, in terms of the
okay,
coaching, right? Than we were in the beginning because we were just starting and learning.
yeah.
But to be honest, apart from that, I would have to think with my team. But I cannot see at the moment anything that I would change at the moment.
Sure, that's marvelous. Would you give any recommendations to people who want to start? Because many it's getting popular and more and more popular. Employee advocacy programs, ambassadors programs, as a natural way of promoting the culture, EVP, etc. In employee branding. So, would you give any like tips or recommendations for starters, for teams who
Yeah,
starts these?
what I would say is do not have afraid of trying. Of course, I'm not saying, okay, do things anyway and then see what happens. I'm not saying that, but do not have afraid to take some risks. Of course, discuss together, brainstorm together, put a few people thinking together, and then do not have afraid to taking some risks and do some actions. Because if we are too fearful of failure, we end up sometimes not doing and not going ahead. So I would encourage everyone to start, think together, don't be afraid of taking some risks, some calculated risks, of course, and then continue assessing the results, reviewing what went well, what went wrong, work on that. And I'm pretty sure everyone can achieve amazing results if you just simply start doing it.
Oh wow, that's great. So be brave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, don't be afraid. That general recommendations for employee branding these days. I would say be brave. Great, Anna. Can you at the very end? Thank you very much for this beautiful case. Really, thank you for bringing us the honest story about this. And I'm sure that you're going to go with this further. And but first of all, congratulations on your efforts and results. So that is beautiful, and I'm going to check some LinkedIn profile of your people to see how they post. That was why I was asking you about, is there any hashtag I can follow? But
If you
okay,
follow Hitachi Solutions Portugal,
yeah,
you end up seeing everything because they always mention Hitachi Solutions Portugal on their posts,
okay,
right?
okay, that's a
So
good.
that would be the best way.
I'm going to do that right away at our call. And can you tell us at the very ending your story about your story with the snow? It was so beautiful, but it
Ah, my story about the
was
snow.
off the track. Anna just shared the story because I'm calling from Poland, where there's a snow. Maybe it's not snowing now, but we have a lot of snow during the winter. And I asked Anna, if what's the weather like, and just we started to talk about the snow, and she shared with me such a beautiful story. I'm sure everybody will love it. Can you share it with us?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. So Barbara asked me if it ever snows in where I am, and I live in Porto, in Portugal, and I said in Porto it never snows. In Portugal it only snows in the mountains. But I also said to Barbara that in my life, I've only seen snow in Porto once, and that was when I was 13 years old. I was in school. It started to snow, and all the teachers stopped the classes and let us go out to play with the snow. So we didn't have any classes anymore on that day. We played it in the snow. And then the next day, when we came back to school, we had to do an essay, and the topic was the snow. So I never forgot about that day. It was really something to remember.
Yeah, so cute. It should be one of the ambassador program posts, you know.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
It's a great
Exactly.
memory. Right, Anna, thank you very much for being with us and sharing the story. Guys, follow the Hitachi Solution Portugal, right? On LinkedIn for more information. And if you have any more questions to Anna, follow her LinkedIn. You will find her there and set a questions. Yeah, and thank you very much for this story. Fingers crossed for you and for your team. Great job, and see you somewhere soon.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Thank you for the invite. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.